bro starts touching me. My grandson. I was wondering if I could give him your number because... Hi, guys. The craziest thing just happened to me at driver's ed. Please enjoy yourself while you're watching this video. Okay, so I'm kind of nervous because this is the first time that I'm like doing like a one-on-one with this person. Okay, so we're driving and you know, everything's going fine. Like, I love driving. My bro starts touching me. My hand is on like the shifting thing, like the park, I don't know what it's called, park reverse, that thing. And he's like, no. Keep in mind, this is a really, like, he was sweet, he was an old man, whatever. This is not where you think it's going. So everything's going fine. And then he starts telling me, he's like, oh, the guys in your school must like get really nervous when they're around you. He's like, I wonder how you don't have a boyfriend yet, like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that I don't have a boyfriend, first of all? What if I do? Second of all, what the fuck? And then he's like, you're a very delightful person. This is where it starts getting bad. So I'm in the car, we're driving. And then all of a sudden he's like, listen, I don't want to make you uncomfortable or anything, but like my grandson.
Bruh.
No, please. My grandson just got his license. He's the same age as you. Please no. Please no. Please. And I was wondering if I could give him your number because you know what? I think he would be in awe to take you out and to meet you. Guys, I was so fucking uncomfortable. I don't like to like reject. So I was like, I was freaking out. Okay, that's not all. He's like, oh, he's a drummer, like he's a painter, like stop it. And he's like, and I was wondering if he could get your number. No! Guys, like, oh, well, like, I don't really feel comfortable, like, with my number, but, like, I mean, I don't know. And he was like, well, like, what do you kids use nowadays? Snapchat? The fuck? What the fuck? So at this point, I'm like, I can't reject this old man. I'm like, here's my Snapchat. Just fucking take it. I need to go. Obviously, like, I'm not gonna accept this kid. I'm sorry. No hate. But if a man that I just met that day is asking for my Snapchat to give to his grandson.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Okay. I'm not a mean person. I don't know what to do in that scenario, okay? That's never happened to me before. A grandfather asking me to hooking me up with his son. I'm visibly very uncomfortable. I was just like, just take it. Takes a picture of my Snapchat profile. I was like, sir, do you want me to write it down?
Shut up, Mom! Silence from you!
Sorry, I'm overreacting a little bit.
Why the fuck you lie?
And then he starts showing me pictures of his grandsons, and they're twins! They're twins! What the fuck? It's not all he said. He said, honey, if I was in high school, I wouldn't even know how to talk to you. God help me. I was trying to change the subject. I was like, we were talking about my cheer. We were talking about like the schools I want to go to, the colleges. Like, stop it. I met you 15 minutes ago. Sorry. No hate to the old man. I'm very flattered. I'm really scared. I got into my dad's car. I told him immediately. My parents are a little freaked out. I should not have gave him my Snapchat, but I cannot say no to people. It's really an uncomfortable situation for me, but I will not be accepting that. I'm very sorry. I'm really uncomfortable. Hope you guys enjoyed. If this happens to me again, I will update. Hey, hi you guys, and welcome to part 2 of my story time about my driving instructor. This was my first time being in the group driving because I missed a lot because of cheer. So there's 2 people in my group. It's me, this one boy, and this other girl. The girl's name is Ella. Shout out Ella. Shout out Ella. It was quiet at first because I've never met any of these people before, so I'm a little bit scared. We all take turns driving, and the driving instructor is like instructing us whatever, like blah blah blah. And I didn't like formally meet Ella yet. After it was her turn driving, then it was the other guy's, let's just call him Chris. Chris was, because I don't want to like put his name in the video because I have not talked to him, but Chris was driving, and so Ella and I were talking, and everything was going fine. Like, me and her, like, click like this. So I'm like, bro, like, the scariest thing happened to me the other day with this driving instructor, but I didn't tell her what. I just told her that I was, like, scared, and then I was like, it's on my TikTok, like, I posted a story time, and then she goes, bro, this driving instructor asked me for my Snapchat to give to his grandson. What the I was like, Ella, he asked me the same exact thing. Fuck.
Beefing with my chick while I'm in jail.
I didn't even
tell her what the story time is about yet.
And I'm like, bro, I just met this girl and the same things happened to her. Do we call the police? Like,
That's the sound of the police.
I'm scared now. I'm scared. I'm scared. We call the police or something?
I'm pregnant and I'm getting an abortion. I found out I was pregnant today. Today is February 20th, and I scheduled my abortion for next week. I will be taking the abortion pill, and I am extremely terrified because I do not want to be doing this. I wish I was in a situation where I could have this baby, but I'm not, and I refuse to bring another baby into the situation that I'm in now. So I am gonna be documenting my journey. Today has been a little bit crazy in like telling my fiance and everything. I'm not on birth control, so this isn't too much a surprise, but still kind of a surprise. I called Planned Parenthood, gave them my information. According to my last period, they told me that I was about 4 weeks and 5 days pregnant. If I don't qualify for emergency Medi-Cal, then the abortion pill will be around, hold on, let me get the number for you. $592. $592 for an abortion pill here in the state of California. And I don't know if emergency Medi-Cal is any different, but I already know that I don't qualify for regular Medi-Cal, so there's that. I'm not looking forward to paying it, but I'm not even in the position right now to do otherwise. So that's that. If you have recently gotten an abortion, thinking about getting an abortion, just know that you aren't alone. Whatever reasons you have are valid. And only you know what's best for you.
Guys, I thought it would be funny if I made a video like how I hid my pregnancy in high school
But the more I thought about it, I didn't hide it. I just got like fat, and then I popped out like pregnant. So for all y'all that don't know, which like nobody knows, everybody just thinks they know, I got pregnant the summer before my senior year, and I didn't tell anybody at school. I didn't tell anybody but family until I was like 6 months pregnant. So let's look at the pics. But I don't have that many pics because I just felt fat, because I was fat. Okay, so pretty much I found out I was pregnant in like the first or second week of school, and I was in soccer season. So here's a soccer picture. So I was pregnant literally from the time that summer practice started, 2-a-days, everything, until the end of soccer season. And the reason why I wanted to keep it a secret is because, well, first of all, I asked my parents to ship me away to Florida to stay with my grandparents, but they said no. But well, I just got ahead of myself. I found out the second week of school, I was in soccer season. I didn't want to have to tell like my soccer coach and my soccer team like, hey guys, I'm pregnant, I have to quit. So I didn't tell anybody except for my boyfriend I was pregnant until soccer season ended. Because I was caught between like, should I like quit playing soccer? Should I finish out the season? Because like it's my senior season and I love it. But I got injured. Like the week after I found out I was pregnant, I got injured. And I kind of just like milked that injury for like 3 weeks, and I was like, wait, I kind of want to finish the season. But at that point, like, you know, if you've been pregnant, like, you start huffing and puffing when you're walking, okay? And I was a defender, so I was like, okay, I'll just chill back here. My coach moved me to winger. I was pregnant AF. I was 3 months pregnant at that point, but I wasn't showing at all. Like, I was not showing. I did not look pregnant. So I was over here huffing and puffing. And then finally soccer season ended, and I told my parents and my boyfriend's parents, and that's all we told. We didn't tell siblings or anything. And like, y'all, look, I was glowing. My skin was clear. And this is us at my cousin's wedding the weekend after we found out. And my cousin, the bride, was trying to get me to drink alcohol, and I was like, no. And like, here I was on homecoming court, and I was in this little like bodycon tight dress. I was petrified that people would see like a little bump or something and would tell I'm pregnant, but I literally wasn't showing yet. So here's me at my homecoming. Again, I'm like 4 weeks here, and like it looks like there might be a little bit of a bump, but it's just like the way I'm standing or like what I ate or whatever, because there was nothing. I still had my 6-pack abs. I was still so skinny, and it didn't like pop through yet. But basically the reason why I wanted to keep it a secret is because I wanted people to have like only a little bit of time that they could talk shit about me for. Like, so my plan was, as long as I'm not showing, nobody's gonna know. I was like, I have to be looking like actually pregnant, not like, ooh, is she just getting a little fat, or is she pregnant? I wanted people to be like, ooh, she's pregnant, before I said anything, so people would have like just a little bit of time to talk shit about me, and I wouldn't have to hear it for the whole 9 months. And then this is me at, that's me at my boyfriend's homecoming. Again, nothing. And then after this, I kind of stopped taking pictures of myself because, like, I just started breaking out terrible, and I just felt like shit about it. I was so embarrassed. I was literally so embarrassed. Even though only my parents knew and his parents knew until I told my older sister at Thanksgiving. And those were the only people that knew. And my best friend. I told my best friend that wasn't in school anymore. And then this is me at school. This would have been me, like, 4.5 months pregnant, and, like, literally nothing. Then this was getting to be like I was 5 months pregnant here, and I had to go to NHS induction for the juniors, and I was so terrified. I asked my mom and my dad and my boyfriend, I was like, do I look fat at all? And I literally didn't. Like, I maybe looked like a little bloated, but you wouldn't think like, oh, she's pregnant. You might just be like, oh. Like, you probably wouldn't even think twice, but I was so paranoid. Like, and again, look, flat as can be. This is me 5 months pregnant. So, okay, y'all, this is where it starts to go downhill. Sorry, like, my boobs are out, but this is where it starts to go downhill. This is the day, this is what I wore the day that my best friend at school told me, hey, this kid's going around saying that he saw a picture of you and you look pregnant, like, you look fat, so he thinks you're pregnant, and he's going around telling everybody. And, like, I was like, oh shit. And this sweater kind of, like, clung to my stomach a little bit because I was starting to get, like, a little bit of a bump. So I was like, shit, I need to lock in. I need to work out or something. Just kidding. This is said picture that I looked super fat in, so I must be pregnant. Imagine if I wasn't pregnant and someone went around the school saying, oh, she's fat, so she looks pregnant. What if I just got fat?
Yeah, I know, everybody was asking about it, and I was just like, what? Do I really look that fat? Yeah, honey, you did. But all of this right here, this isn't all belly. This is just like the way my boobs were huge, and like the way the pajamas were sticking out. Because before I left the house, I like checked every angle. I took videos of myself. I asked everybody in my house, like, do I look fat? And they all said no. And I honestly didn't look like pregnant fat. I looked a little maybe like, oh, she stopped working out, she stopped, whatever. Pretty much like around that time, I was just wearing outfits like this, where like I would still wear leggings, but then something that just kind of like went over it, or like a hoodie or something. So people were going around school saying I looked fat, and other people were like, well, all she's been wearing is baggy clothes, so she must be pregnant. And at this point, I was 6 months pregnant. So I was like, okay, maybe it's time to give it up. Maybe it's just over. Luckily enough, I was going on spring break like the next week. So like I think I went to school Friday, and I was at my lunch table. I was like, you know what, guys? I am pregnant. Tell whoever you want. I'm going on spring break. I'm gone for the whole next week. So I went on spring break, and like, look right here. You can't see my bump like out, but I was 7 months pregnant at this point. When I went on spring break during the trip is when I turned 7 months pregnant. And then I just posted this picture on Visco with my little bitty bump, like, prego. And then it escalated. The day of my shower is when I turned 32 weeks pregnant, and that's this picture. Boy, was I big! This is me the next weekend at prom. You can't see the bump because I was trying to hide her. But I went to prom because I got on prom court, and my friends were like begging me. Like my best friend was like, you have to go. You're gonna regret it if you don't go. So I had to get a dress, and all these girls at prom that like I thought were my friends were saying I looked like a slut in my dress, and a mother shouldn't wear something like that. But it was literally like a loose fitting silk dress, and yeah, my boobs are out, but when you got huge fucking knockers because you're pregnant, they're just gonna be out. Like, come on, guys. There's another pic that you can see it a little better. Okay, this video turned out really long. But in conclusion, I really didn't do a good job at like hiding it or like disguising it. I just wore like big stuff, and if I would have shown earlier, then people would have found out earlier. But luckily, and they say like the first time you're pregnant, you don't show soon anyways. And like I was really fit. I had like abs and stuff. So that like held it in. But yeah, if you need tips on how to hide your pregnancy, don't talk to me. Don't text me. Okay, I've never done one of these video replies before, but 2 people asked, what was your parents' reaction to finding out? And it's actually really funny. Pretty much, if you know me in real life, you would know I am like the last person you would expected to have gotten pregnant. In high school, I never got in trouble. I never went to parties. I had one boyfriend throughout high school. Like, I am not the girl you thought would have gotten pregnant. So I think my parents were just like shocked. So after, like I said, after soccer season ended, I was like 3 months pregnant. And one day me and my boyfriend were like, okay, we gotta tell our parents. So I called my mom up to my room, and me and my boyfriend were sitting on my bed, and my mom just came in and she was like, what's up? And Nate was like, well, we have something we have to tell you. Nate's my boyfriend. And I tried to say it, and I just like broke down crying. Like I was like bawling, and my boyfriend was like, no, it's okay, like it's fine. And he didn't want to say it, and my mom was like, what's wrong, are you pregnant? And Nate was like, yeah, she's pregnant. Then my mom starts crying, and it's not like obviously she was disappointed, but I think she was more just like scared and like upset for me. Like once I told her like, look, I've been hiding it, I'm like 3 months pregnant, she was like you couldn't tell me. And like I could have told her, I just was so embarrassed. And so then she was afraid because she didn't know how my dad would react. So she went down and told my dad, and then she texted me and was like, okay, come downstairs now. And then we went downstairs, and the first thing my dad did was like crack a joke to my boyfriend. And so me and my boyfriend were like, oh, okay, we're not getting in trouble, like this is weird. And like all in all, I think their approach was like, it already happened, like there's nothing to do but just like be excited about it and like, I don't know, be supportive, I guess, which their reaction made it so much easier because I was so scared. But yeah, their reaction made it so easy, and they were super supportive. I just did the video of how my parents reacted. Now this one will be how my boyfriend's parents reacted. We actually told my boyfriend's mom first out of all of our parents because we knew she would just be supportive and she wouldn't be mad. So my boyfriend had just gotten home from football practice, and we told her like, we have something we want to talk to you about, like do you want to go get food? So my boyfriend drove us all to Captain D's because I was craving Captain D's. Like I love Captain D's, and so did the baby. So she knew something was up, and Nate told her, like, yeah, Liv's pregnant, and she was basically just, like, scared for us, like, she didn't know how it would turn out, and she was mostly just, like, yeah, she was a little disappointed, but she was just supportive, like, anything you need, if you guys need, you know, anything, just let me know. And then his dad we told last out of everybody, and his dad, which, backstory, his sister had gotten pregnant at, like, 18 or 19, too. So this was, like, second round for them. But his dad was basically like, okay, you guys are, like, adults now. Like, if you need help, we'll help you. But, like, his dad didn't really have much to say. Like, he was supportive, but it wasn't, like, a huge deal. Like, I was so scared to tell my parents because I knew it would be a huge deal. But his parents, like, I don't know, that's more normal on his side of the family to, like, have kids outside of marriage. Or, like, yeah, like I said, his sister already had a kid when she was a teen. So it was, like, they were not, like, used to it, but it was, like, more normal for them. Whether, like, my family, like, everybody's married and they have kids after they get married and nobody's divorced. Like, it was just way more scary to tell my parents. A lot of people wanted to hear my birth experience or my birth story, and I will say it didn't go how I planned for it to go, which you can't really plan it. But in the end, I'm really happy with how it went because me and Grayson ended up being totally fine. So basically, the day I turned 40 weeks, I had a 40-week appointment where they do ultrasounds to see, like, how your baby's growing, if they're big, small, medium, whatever. And Grayson's scans were coming back. Like, his head was measuring off the charts, his stomach was measuring off the charts. They thought his body weight was going to be 10 pounds, 11 ounces. So they were like, we want you to be induced. We would really recommend that you have a C-section. And I was like, I do not want to have a C-section unless it is, like, the last option, because I was going for a natural unmedicated birth. So I was like, you can induce me, but no C-section, please. So then they sent me straight over to the hospital to get induced, and they put me on Pitocin, and they gave me a Foley catheter. And when they pulled the Foley catheter out, I had it in, like, all night. They pulled the Foley catheter out, and I was, like, 3 centimeters dilated. And I really wasn't feeling contractions yet. So I had been in labor, in induced labor, for, like, 12 hours, and I was, like, 3 centimeters dilated. And they were like, okay, we need to, like, speed this up. So they brought the doctor over to break my water. And once they broke my water, it was so much, like, liquid. And they said I had some condition. It was called, like, hydro something, where I had, like, an excess of amniotic fluid. Like, I had so much fluid. They said it was cushioning my contractions, so I couldn't feel my contractions until they, like, broke my water for me. So once they broke my water, my contractions were so intense. And like I said, I don't know if I said, but I could not get past, like, 3 or 4 centimeters dilated. So I was in labor feeling, like, really, really, really intense contractions for, like, 12 hours. And then my midwife came in, and she was like, I'm really concerned that you're not progressing. Like, I'm afraid we're going to have to do an emergency C-section if you don't progress further than this. And she was like, so for that C-section, we would have to give you an epidural. She was like, I think we should give you an epidural now so your body can hopefully relax and let you dilate the rest of the way so you can give birth naturally. She was like, and then if you don't dilate and you can't give birth naturally, then you'll have the epidural to go into a C-section. So I was like, damn, okay. So then I had to get the epidural after 12 hours of unmedicated labor. And then right after they gave me the epidural, the nurse anesthetist that did it was like, okay, now I want you to, like, try to get some sleep. You've been awake and in labor for 24 hours. Like, you need to get some sleep. But like I said, as soon as I got the epidural, my body relaxed. It was so nice to just finally be able to, like, not feel any pain. And my contractions were terrible. I was puking. I was, like, terrible. And they say Pitocin makes your contractions worse. And I had been on Pitocin for a long time. Then, pretty much immediately I started pushing. And I pushed for 2 hours. And then Grayson was born. And I had to get stitches. But yeah, he was born. We did skin to skin. He latched, like, pretty much immediately. He did really good latching. And he breastfed great. Like, he's always breastfed great. He's still breastfed now. But yeah, so as I said, like, I can't complain. It didn't go how I wanted it to go because I wanted to be unmedicated, and I'm going to try to be unmedicated next time, but I can't complain. Okay, this is a really good question, and it's not even that I feel like I lost friends when people found out. It's I lost friends when the rumors started going around, and I saw how my friends reacted. So like I said, a picture went around of me that I looked a little fat in, and this guy just kept telling everybody that I was pregnant because I looked so fat in that picture. So then everybody at school just started like talking about how, oh, Olivia Laux might be pregnant, whatever, whatever. And my true friends that I'm still friends with to this day were the people that heard the rumor and came straight to me and said, hey, we heard this rumor. You know, if it's true, you can tell us. We'll support you. We'll keep your secret if you want. If it's not true, like, let us know who we need to beat up. And then the people that I did consider my friends that I do not speak to and I never want to speak to again in my life are the people that I was friends with that heard the rumor and they just perpetuated the rumor. And I heard them talking about, oh yeah, she does look fat, or oh yeah, she probably is pregnant. So those people instantly cut them off. People said so much stuff. And like people that I have been friends with for my whole entire life said so much stuff. And I never once acknowledged any of it because I was like, if you're like this, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. So I just shifted my focus and I literally had like 3 friends. So a bunch of people are asking about our living situation too. I don't know if I answered that in my other videos. I don't think I did. But basically when we found out I was pregnant, my dad was like, well, I guess we're gonna have to like figure something out. And basically my bedroom in my house, I have like the old master bedroom and my parents like made a new one downstairs. So I have a bedroom, and my bedroom's pretty big because our house is old, so it's like big bedrooms. And then I have a bathroom, and I have a big closet, like a huge closet. So basically my dad redid my bathroom because it was like ranky dank. My dad redid my bathroom, and then as soon as the baby was born, my boyfriend moved in with me. And then we lived together for like 6 or 7 months, and then he moved into his dad's house when he started working. And then basically since then we've like just split our time between his dad's house and my parents' house. And at his dad's house now, like within the last couple weeks, they redid their basement, and so there's a little room for Grayson. It's basically just big enough for like his crib, and then my boyfriend's bedroom, and then like a little living room. So there's like an area for us down there. Okay, now I'll make a video about how I found out. So basically I found out like the second week of September, I think. And through August, I was having like a weird period cycle thing because I was late on my period, and then I had a period, and then I had like what I thought was like another period, but I think that was like the implantation bleeding. So then finally, like the second week of September, I was like, okay, I was supposed to get my period, like I was supposed to have my period already. And so then me and my boyfriend went to the store and we bought like these little Meyer brand pregnancy tests that were on sale for like 97 cents, probably because they were like expired or something. But we bought 2 of them because for some reason I just like had a feeling, like I thought it would be negative, but I also like knew it would be positive. So we came home and I peed on one of them, and immediately after I peed on it, there was 2 lines, and I just like broke down crying. And my boyfriend was like, no, it's not right. He was like, no, it's not right, like we'll wait until you have to pee again and you'll take the other one. So we just hung out for a while until I had to pee again, and so I took the second one, and again, as soon as I peed on it, it was like positive. So then I was just like, I basically cried all night, and he slept over. He wasn't allowed to sleep over at this point, like we did sometimes, but like I like snuck him in and let him sleep over. But like his dad was like, you need to come home, and he was like, nope, sorry, and he just stayed over because I was like, you can't leave me by myself, you cannot leave me by myself. And so then I was just telling him, like, do not tell a soul. I was like, I am bringing this to my grave with me. Like, this is so embarrassing. The day that he is born is the day everyone will find out. And obviously, I kind of did keep it for a long time, but it's so funny to me how many comments I got asking if I was on birth control, or like why I wasn't on birth control, whatever. And so this video is going to be about my birth control experience because it's kind of like weird. So a few months after me and my boyfriend started dating, I went to the doctor to get on birth control, and she was like going through all the different kinds I could get on, and she didn't recommend an IUD for someone who hadn't had a baby yet because it would be like painful to get in. I'm terrible at taking pills, so she didn't recommend the pill. I didn't want the patch, so we decided on the Nexplanon like arm implant. It went in my arm. Yeah, it was like right there. And I got that put in, and I had it in for like 6 months. So pretty much as soon as I got on the Nexplanon birth control, I started having like mental symptoms. I was super depressed, super anxious. Like, I felt lonely all the time, like just so lonely. no matter like who I was with. I could be in a room full of my best friends, my boyfriend, whoever. I just felt so lonely. And then I was getting to the point where I was like, I'm about to and I also had like physical symptoms. I got really bad acne the whole entire time I was on it. Another thing that happened was I lost like 25 pounds while I was on it in the 6 months that I was on it. And usually people gain weight. Like, I've heard everyone that's been on the Nexplanon said they gained weight, and my doctor thinks that it reacted with like an underlying thyroid problem that I have that made me lose a bunch of weight. And I was already pretty skinny, so I was like skinny. I was very small when I was on the Nexplanon, and my doctor was like concerned at the weight that I was losing. Another thing with the Nexplanon is you were supposed to have like light bleeding and then have like regular periods. I had my period for the whole entire 6 months I was on that birth control. So that was crazy. And so I got that taken out like I think 3 or 4 months before I got pregnant. And after I got that off of that, I was so scared to get on anything else because of the way it made me like crazy. So then after I had Grayson, I was like, okay, I need to get on something else. So I talked to my doctor and I said I wanted something non-hormonal. So we decided on the non-hormonal IUD. And so after enough time had passed, after I had Grayson, they put in my IUD, and I had to go in like a month after they put it in for them to check it. And they put it in under ultrasound. So then I went in and they did an ultrasound to try and find it, and it was like gone. Like they couldn't find it. They sent me to get x-rays, and it had fallen out and I didn't even notice. And the doctor was like, if it would have fallen out, you would have had like a ton of pain and cramping and bleeding. But yeah, so they couldn't find my IUD. So I was like, I don't want to get on an IUD again, because what if it falls out and then I don't know? And then I'm like, oh no, I'm good, I'm on birth control. And I'm not. So then I talked to her about what else I could get on that wasn't an Nexplanon, that wasn't a pill, that wasn't an IUD. And she was like, well, let's try the patch. And she didn't really say any symptoms I might have. And so I got on the patch. And at this point, I had been breastfeeding for like 3-ish months. And she asked how my supply was. And my supply was good. So I was like, yeah, my supply's good. And within like a week of being on the patch, my supply was 0. Like I would pump and I would get like drops. Literally just drops. So then I had to stop the patch so I could keep breastfeeding. And since then, I've just been like terrified of being on birth control, because I've never had a good experience with any birth control ever. Okay, here's a comment asking what was my first thought when I found out. And I pretty much just thought, like, how am I going to tell my parents, my friends, everybody? How am I going to tell people? And then how am I going to like finish school and go through this prego AF? And I really wasn't scared about giving birth, because I was kind of like, well, it'll work out, you know, like it'll just be whatever. I was really nervous about like the whole pregnancy part, because I don't really know many people who have young children who were, or people like that were pregnant. And the last time my mom was pregnant was when I was in like kindergarten, so I just didn't really remember anything. So I was scared about that, but not really about giving birth, because I just thought like, well, it'll work out. And then like affording everything, I knew my boyfriend would just like get a job, and like I knew we'd be fine, and I knew my parents would help us out, so bless. Someone asked how we found out the gender and how we named him, and this part of it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of boring. But we just got the blood test done that you can get that tells the gender at like 16 weeks or 20 weeks or 12 weeks, I don't know. But we were just sitting on my bed alone, and we opened the email and it was like, boy. And my boyfriend like jumped up and started like screaming, and I was like happy. Like I didn't really care what it was. I kind of liked having a boy first, because like older brother type, you know. But then when we named him, when we found out it was a boy, I always wanted to name my baby Grayson, after Grayson Dolan, because I just love him. And I mentioned the name Grayson, and my boyfriend was like, yeah, I like it. And we never said another name. Literally not another name ever came out of our mouths. Like, oh, we could name him this. It was just Grayson as soon as I said it. Okay, this is a good question, because I never really said the timeline of it other than I found out in September. So I found out in September I was pregnant the whole year, and then my due date ended up being like the week of finals, so I didn't want to miss my finals because I was giving birth. So I asked if I could take my finals a week early, and they let me. And so then I was done with school a week early, and I was just like at home chilling. And then they induced me on a Thursday, and I gave birth on a Saturday. And then the next week was graduation. So like I missed a week of school, then we had a week off of school before graduation. So yeah, I gave birth on a Saturday, and then my high school graduation was on Friday. So it was a week between when I gave birth and when I graduated.
Story time on how my ex cheated on me with someone who was catfishing him as a girl on Discord. I'm gonna make this the unnecessary details pretty short. But basically, him and I got together at Halloween of 2024. I found out from his ex-girlfriend in January of 2024 that he had kissed another girl the night we got together. I didn't consider it cheating, but I was just very distraught that he had lied to me about it, and he just hid that from me. And the fact that I found out from his ex-girlfriend, who he'd been trying to pit me against for months. Like, he made me hate her. Like, I hated her, and I'm so sorry, because I know you follow me and I love you, and I still cherish the favor that you did me by telling me. So I found out he kissed another girl on the same night he got with me, and I was just like, oh, like, that's kind of bones, like, that's a bit fucked up. So I ended up saying, hey, I want to go on a break, but I ended up getting back with him because I'm fucking stupid. So obviously my dumbass believes everything he says, and he's like, it didn't mean anything, I don't even know her. She went to his fucking school, obviously he fucking knew her. So whatever, me and him get back together after like a 2-day break because I'm fucking stupid and I didn't stop talking to him on the break, and I let him weasel his way back into my tiny fucking pea brain. So then we get back together. I'm still thinking about the fact that he kissed this girl, but it's not like something that's like keeping me up at night, but it's just always in the back of my head, because when you go back to someone after something like that, it never goes away, and you think it will, but it doesn't. So then him and I, still doing long distance because we're teenagers and we don't really have a choice, I ended up meeting his parents. His mom didn't really like me at first because I'm alternative and they're Eastern European, so it was kind of obvious that they wouldn't really like me because, you know, some of them can be pretty traditional with that type of stuff. They wouldn't really like the piercings or the tattoos. So his mother ends up inviting me over for a sleepover, and that was shocking to me because obviously she didn't fucking like me because of the way I looked. Like, she had explicitly said, she was like, she looks like one of the skeleton people. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Get over to his house. Sleepover's really good. His mom ends up giving me like Dior makeup, like YSL lipstick, like skincare and makeup bag, everything. So me and him start being able to see each other a lot more, and it's summer, and this is June 22nd. I vividly remember the day that I found out. June 22nd rolls around. I'm invited to a function with my friends at the beach, and not a lot of them were close friends, but some of them were very close friends, and I was like, yeah, like, this is gonna be so fun. Like, you can meet my kind of like more acquaintances of mine. He's like, you know what, me and you haven't been on a proper date. Like, we haven't gone out and we haven't done stuff, you know, like, we should go to dinner. And I was like, oh, like, that's really cute. Like, we haven't actually been on a date. So I am at the beach with him. We end up going home. It was a good day at the beach. It was a little awkward because he was just weird. It was a little awkward, like, with him meeting my friends. So we end up going home, and then he's like, yeah, let's go to dinner. He takes me to a chicken bar that's across the street from my house. I was just like, okay, this is like the first proper date we're going on, and you took me to a restaurant that I could go to anytime I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, oh, like, you hyped it up a little bit much, but it's still really sweet because you're paying for my food. He was, in fact, not paying for my food, because when we got the bill, she asked, do you want to pay together or separately? And he looks at me, looks at the waitress, and goes, separately. Why are we here then? After that, he goes back to my house. He hops in the shower. He's watching a film with my parents while I'm in the shower, I think. Then we go into my room, watching another movie, just normal fucking boyfriend-girlfriend stuff, right? And he goes to sleep pretty early. And he didn't set his alarm because he had to get the bus, like, maybe I think at 11 or 12 the next day. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a good girlfriend and set his alarm for him. And he'd given me his password, which was fucking stupid, because why would you give your girlfriend your password if you're fucking cheating on her? So I open his phone, I set his alarm, and as I do that, I just get like this intuition for some reason. Like, I don't know why, but this is the one time that it literally like popped into my head. I just was like, check his camera roll for some reason. So I check his phone. I don't find anything too concerning at first. It's been about 2 minutes. Then I go into his camera roll, and nothing. There's nothing in there that's like incriminating towards him. There's nothing in there that would make me be like, oh fuck, like, he's cheating. Then I check his fucking recently deleted, and this is where everything goes downhill. Mind you, my dad was on a trip to South Africa, and my mother is the heaviest sleeper in the world. She doesn't even wake up when the fire alarm goes off, so I knew this was going to be a screaming match. Like, I just knew I wasn't going to be able to keep my composure, so I had to prepare myself. Anyway, I'm sitting there, I go through his recently deleted. Tell me why I see some woman's fat fucking ass, and I don't mean fat in like a P-H-A-T way, I mean it as in like, what the fuck way. Like, when I'm not trying to shame, but I was just so insulted because I was like, fuck, like, that's how easy you are? Like, I was like, Jesus fuck, I was embarrassed for him. So I see this like ugly fucking ass in like granny panties, and I was like, this has to be a joke. Like, this isn't some nude that someone sent him. Like, why would they be in his camera roll? And then I see another, and then I see another, and then picture this, okay? Wait for this. Pretend this is a table. Pretend my hand is a table. Pretend someone's phone is on the table. Pretend these are fucking ass cheeks clapping off the fucking phone screen. That's what I see. I see a video of some girl plopping her fucking ass cheeks onto her phone camera. This is when I lost it. So then I call my best friend. I go into the kitchen. I call my best friend and I'm like, what the fuck do I do? I wake her up from her sleep, but girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do. So I wake her up from her sleep. She's half asleep. She doesn't know what the fuck's going on. She's just like, beat him up. I don't know. So naturally, that's what I do. I went back into my bedroom and I threw his phone, like, and it hit him in the face. Oopsie. And then he was sleeping with my favorite pillow. And I don't let anyone sleep with my favorite pillow, but he was hugging it as if he had done nothing wrong. Like, he was sleeping like a fucking baby, bro. It was so annoying. And so I rip this pillow from him and I just start like pummeling him in the face with it, like over and over again. And he wakes up, obviously. And he's like, what's wrong? What's going on? And I just like got so calm. And I was like, just come into the kitchen. And he was like, okay, where's my phone? And I was like, I have it. Come into the kitchen. And his face, he went fucking green. Oh my God, it was magical. I wish I fucking recorded it. And like the color just drains from his face. And I don't say anything. And I'm just like, I just sit there for a minute and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why is there nudes all up in your fucking camera roll? And he, first of all, he gets annoyed at me for going through his phone, which is justified if I didn't find anything. But I did find something that is completely worthy of me breaking up with you. But anyway, I ask him, why are these pictures in your phone? This man came up with the best story I've ever fucking heard. He says he was on Discord. Then he says, we were in a server, and so I don't know how Discord works. I've never been on it in my life. He said he was on a server with some people, and one of the people from the server texted him, and he couldn't tell from their profile if it was a guy or a girl. That's when I should have been like, okay, just stop talking. So he said he couldn't tell if it was a guy or a girl, and I was like, okay. And then he said we were talking about our interests and gym and sports and stuff, and he said that he sent that person progress pictures, like, but even though there wasn't any fucking progress being made. So when he sends them the shirtless picture, they apparently sent him nudes. And when I tell you, I knew immediately that this was full of shit, because first of all, these girls, it was not the same girl in all of these pictures in the video. It was like they were different weights, they were different shapes, they were different skin textures, different ethnicities. Like one girl, like she was really, really tan, another one was really, really pale, like just completely different. So that's how I knew he was being catfish or whatever. I still don't know what the true story is. He never told me. I don't think I ever want to know. So he starts hysterically crying when I confront him. And I'm trying to hear him out because I'm a good person and I loved him. And then I said, why didn't you just block them? And you know what this motherfucker says to me? Looks me dead in the eyes and he goes, I don't know. I think it was just lust or something. Are you fucking kidding me? So then I have it on a voice memo. I might post it if anyone cares, but you can hear me being like, okay, we're done. No, you're done. He starts having a panic attack, asks me for an inhaler. What? No. Mind you, I knew where this fucking inhaler was, but did I give it to him? Not for about 5 minutes. I made him suffer. So he asked me for a quickie. I'm in the middle of my nap, and I made him nap on the floor. I didn't even give him a pillow. I gave him a blanket, and I was like, fend for yourself. Because I couldn't kick him out that early. Like, there was no way for him to even go where he needed to go, and my mom would have killed me. So I'm taking my nap, and he asked me for a fucking quickie. What? He asked me for a quickie. And I just, no. So anyway, then I kick him out, like, at maybe, 9 in the morning, and then we're still texting on and off. And then we end up just kind of eventually going no contact, and haven't heard from him since, really. So I end up texting his mother after we break up and telling her exactly what he did. And she said, I hope someone does the same thing to him. So yeah, that's how I found out he was cheating. And I still don't know what the context of those pictures were. And I don't think I want to. Time on how I got revenge on my ex after he cheated on me. I just want to say, if you're seeing this, you can be mad at me for posting it. But you also need to be mad at your homeboy of 8 years who's been texting me behind your back, chatting shit about you for the last 4 months. I'm just going to leave that there. Anyway. So the first thing I did was, I was still quite upset about this, and my mother actually was one of the people who told me that I should do this. Shout out to my mama, I love you. Basically, I was more upset at the start, so the first thing I did was text his mother, and I told her exactly what he did, and I'll put her response here. Pause to read it if you want to, but this was her response. My friend at the time had seen a mutual of theirs post on their TikTok story that they had a streak with my ex. And this girl is so pretty, so kind. I love her. She's still my best friend to this day. We're still literally like this. I see her all the time. Like, we're still tight as fuck. My friend sees that she had posted a streak with this boy. And I knew immediately. I was like, I don't know if that's him, but, like, I need to talk to her and figure out if it is him. because I need to save her. Like, she can't go through that. I'm not letting another girl go through that. So me and her become friends. She tells me that she's talking to this guy. She says his name is Paul. Let's call him Paul, because I don't want to name names, but, you know, whatever. She starts telling me, like, all the stuff he does and, like, blah, blah, blah. And we come up with this plan that we think is, I still think about it. I'll insert a picture here of it in a minute, but just listen. He says, oh, my friend thinks you're really cute. Like, she likes you. Like, she wants to join the call. And so he's like, yeah, duh, because he's a fucking gooner. So he's sitting there, like, oh my God. He's sitting there, like, getting all, like putting his nice shirt on and, like, fixing his 2 strands of hair because he's balding for some reason at 17. When I tell you I could actually park a fucking school bus on that boy's forehead, I'm not messing. Like, if I had a picture, I'd show you, but Jesus Christ. Anyway, she is, like, telling him this stuff, and he's getting all excited, and he's like, oh, I can't, like, all this stuff, getting mad excited to, like, talk to this really cute girl. Little did he know I was the really cute girl. So we joined the call, or I joined the call, I should say, and I'll insert a picture here of his reaction when I joined. Me and Brooke are laughing in his face, absolutely pissing ourselves. And I just kind of start going, like, toe to toe with him. He gets annoyed after a few minutes. He ends the call. Me and Brooke make a group chat on Instagram to have one more laugh. And I said to him, oh, you got your lip pierced? Because he got his lip pierced, but it was just one side, and it was literally just one ball, which I know is normal, but it's him, so it, like, looked like shit. And so I said, oh, you got your lip pierced? It looks like a wart. And then he goes, his comeback was maybe one of the worst things I've ever heard come out of someone's mouth, because he was so confident with it too. His comeback was, boogers in your nose, you fat bitch. What? So my response was something like, saying I'm a fat bitch while you were balls deep is fucking crazy. And then I said something about, like, how I didn't even know he was balls deep because I thought that was funny. And then he goes, that's what they all say. Mind you, I'm his only body at this point. So we stopped talking after that. He blocks me on everything. I'm still blocked to this day. So I know he's probably not going to see this, but if you do, check your homeboy. So I signed him up for Satanic Temple emails and Jehovah's Witness emails and spam little emails. And then, this is the best one, I signed him up for masturbation rehabilitation classes because obviously someone has a problem. So yeah, that's basically it. I think those are the main things I remember. I'm sure that there is more, but yeah, so learn your lesson, don't cheat on Freya.
Being complimented by a woman hits so different. Like, a girl will just be like, oh, I really like your hair. And in my head, I'm like, am I gay?
Okay, welcome to a day in hell as a high school student. First, you wake up. The night previous, you and your boyfriend had gotten in a fight. You're a senior in high school. He is a freshman in college. You guys stayed together because you thought you could make the 2-hour distance work. You wake up. It's your birthday. You go downstairs, you're excited, you open your phone to see if your boyfriend had texted you since he hadn't since 3 p.m. the day prior, and his location had been in a dorm that wasn't his own, and none of his friends dorm in that building. So you go, you check if you have any notifications from him. None. Your other friends are blowing up your phone. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. You eat some breakfast, you head out. It was a low effort day. You didn't do your makeup, you put your hair up in a messy bun, and you threw on a sweat set. Then you make your way to school. Your boyfriend still isn't texting you. You're a bit worried because he told you he'd gone to bed at 5 p.m., but at 1 a.m. his location had moved to another dorm. So you text him, you say, hey, it's my birthday. I don't want to be selfish. I would like to have a good day today. I don't want to fight with you. Like, I really, like, whatever it is, it's okay. I just want to move past it. And he sends you a paragraph. It's saying, happy birthday, I love you forever. And at the end of it, it says, I know you're going to be okay no matter what happens. That's when you go, oh shit. You guys have been dating for 1 year and 3 months. It's your birthday. He then doesn't post you on Instagram like he promised he would. And you ask him, hey, why don't you post me? I thought we worked on this. I thought you said you weren't going to hide me from people anymore. He doesn't respond. Hours go by. I have an awful school day. I whip out my phone because I'm fighting with him, and I'm in my first period. I forget we have yonder pouches at school. I then get caught on the security camera on my phone. Security comes in and goes, what's that in your hand? And I go, my phone. Wrong answer. She then takes me to the principal's office. The principal loves me, or the vice principal loves me. And I walk in, and he asks me, are you okay? And I don't respond. I just nod no. And then he asks me if I'd like kettle corn. And I start crying because it's not the popcorn I wanted. And then I break down. And then I tell him everything. Finally, I calm down, I go back to my class. I then have my 2 hardest classes. I am texting my boyfriend on my little Snapchat Grwn, hey, are we okay? Can we talk? Nothing. All my friends are asking, how's your birthday? I'm about to cry. Eventually, we go home. I have soccer practice later that night. My knee's injured, but I'm gonna play through it. I text my boyfriend, hey, you haven't talked to me all day. It's my birthday. You promised you'd post me. Like, is it a surprise? Are you showing up? He then just says, I'm sorry for everything. I decide I've taken enough disrespect. It's time to break up with him. I text him, hey, I would like to do this over call, but it's your choice. I'm going to call you within the next hour. He doesn't respond. I forget to call him. I go to soccer practice, am near tears. Everyone's telling me to break up with my boyfriend. They eat the cupcakes I brought. We do sprints. Afterwards, I tell him, hey, 5 minutes until I call you. Doesn't say anything. I send a text. I say, hey, it hurt my feelings, this and this and this. I think I deserve better. This is what's happening. He goes, yeah, something's been off. And then he tells me that he doesn't know if it's the distance, 2 hours, which I drove the prior week, by the way, or if it's something else, someone else. And I go, okay, do you have anything else you want to say? And he goes, well, I saw that there was a guy in your story, so that looks recent. When was that? Accusing me of cheating. That was my friend's younger brother, who also happens to like men. I tell him, are you serious? And he says, I'd like to know before we break up if you were cheating on me. No, but I wonder why you're projecting. And then I spend the rest of my birthday night in my bed as my friends clean out every letter, every flower, every gift, there's not many, that he's ever gotten for me. And I lay in bed and I cry. Welcome to a day of my life in hell, also known as my 18th birthday. Thank you for listening.
First Jimmy Buffett, then Smash Mouth, now DJ Casper. You're telling me that we lost Margaritaville?
So this is a day from hell, except it actually happened to me, and I'm finally ready to speak on it because it was too traumatizing to do it earlier. Ignore my Chipotle shirt, I'm getting ready to go to work. But anyways, you wake up at 8:30 in the morning in Montreal, Canada. You are hungover as shit because you were out way too late clubbing with your sister the night before. You realize you have slept through your 7 a.m. alarm to leave to drive back to Oxford, Ohio, about an hour northwest of Cincinnati. Long drive. You get in the car, you pick up 2 iced coffees and 5 Alanis from the Tim Hortons along with a box of Timbits, and you start driving. It's about 9 a.m. as you hit the road, and about 11 you hit the border. The border patrol officer is kind, thankfully, and he says, did you bring anything else back with you other than that huge box of Timbits? So basically he's telling you that you should shoot yourself dead with a gun, obviously. But you continue. You finally stop for the first time in Rochester, New York, and you check your weather app because it's looking like it wants to snow. You fill up your gas tank, check the weather app, and you see something called lake effect, which you're unfamiliar with as a girl from California. So you see the storm on the coast of Lake Erie, you know exactly where you're driving, but you think, you know what? It can't be that bad. It'll be alright. You continue. Within 30 minutes, the snow starts coming down, and it starts coming down hard. You turn your hazards and brights on, everybody's down, going about 30 miles an hour on the highway, you know, trying to get home safely. It takes you 3 hours to drive 100 miles. That is how bad the snow and the visibility is. It somehow also starts raining, which you think that's not a meteorological event. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Apparently that happens. It snows and rains at the same time. So, you know, the snow is affecting the visibility, the rain's all up in your windshield, the windshield wipers are going, the sound is really, really, really starting to bug you. You think, you know what, I'll be able to turn them off soon. But alas, you continue. You keep driving, you stop in Buffalo. The visibility is so bad, it genuinely feels like the sun has set at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. It is so dark, it is so awful. I cannot emphasize how bad the visibility was, to the point where honestly, like, I should not have been driving. I don't know how I made it to Oxford. I don't know. I should not have been driving. But anyways, you continue because you're determined to make it back to Oxford, you know, for your 8 a.m. 4-hour long chemistry lab on Monday morning. So you keep going. You keep going because you can't miss that shit. Finally, you make it to Lake Erie, Pennsylvania, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to take a nap. You've cracked open your third Alani, it's just not doing what it needs to do. So you say, I'm going to take a nap in the parking lot of this Comfort Inn. About an hour and a half. You lie down at 6 p.m., wake up at 7:30, immediately realize you have made the wrong decision. The snow is even worse. Somehow. You didn't think that was possible. You're parked in front of the Comfort Inn, you cannot even see it. That is how bad the visibility was. You crack open your fourth energy drink of the day, this will become relevant, and you get some food, and you get back on the road. Finally, you hit the Cleveland suburbs, and you're like, yes, God, sorry, ignore my ice machine. And you're like, yes, God, I've finally done it. All is going to be okay. You start driving south to head towards Columbus. Will you shut up? Boom. You turn and start driving towards Columbus. And things are going well for about 2 hours, that stretch. You're going back up to 60. All is good. The snow and the rain have really calmed down to the point where, you know, it's still bad. But compared to what it was, it's nothing. So you're feeling good, you're in the groove, you've got your music, you're on your fourth Alani, you've already had 2 iced coffees, but you know what? You think nothing bad will happen because of that. And then it gets worse. You're driving in the middle lane of a 3-lane highway when all of a sudden a deer appears in front of you. It's halfway between your lane and the lane to the left. And you see this deer, and this is not like a little white-tailed doe. This is like a big, wild buck. You have never seen a deer this big. You hit the deer. Your car goes spinning. You know those signs that say bridge ices before road? You now understand why they say that. Your car starts spinning. You hit your head on the side of the car. You have a bruise on your head at that point. And you start just spinning and hydroplaning. You're doing wheelies, scary as hell. Out of the corner of your eye, you see the deer go flying. You know, like a frisbee, hits the median, crumples, you have killed a deer. You're screaming and crying and traumatized and just not having a great time at this point. You keep driving, finally, thank God there was nobody on the highway. You keep driving, and you pass a sign that says, last exit for 26 miles, you missed the exit. So now all you can do is keep driving. Finally, you get to Columbus, you pull over, and you're like, alright, let's assess the damage. There are bits of deer stuck in like where the engine starts. So not only have you killed a deer, your car has a little dent in it, it's a mess. You think, wow, how much worse can this fucking day get? You're driving through Columbus. At this point it's about midnight, your ETA is 3 in the fucking morning. You've already been on the road for at this point almost 14 hours and you still have 3 hours left. This has already been a day out of hell. You think, how could it possibly get worse? You're driving through Columbus, you're the only one on the highway, and you're going 7 miles over the speed limit. Out of nowhere, a cop appears behind you. It turns its lights on. It doesn't blow past you, there's nobody else can be coming for. About half a mile, you start slowing down. You're like, alright, here we go, never been pulled over before, guess it's time to start. So you get pulled over. You get pulled over. And the cop is like, license and registration. You hand him your license and registration, whatever. He's like, he sees, you know, the state you're in, the mascara running down your face, makeup still on from the night before, and, you know, mascara running down your face because, you know, you killed a deer. And thankfully he was kind and he says, you know what, I'm gonna let you go. It was only 7, slow down, the next guy won't be as nice. You're like, you know what, that's fair. And you keep driving. License and registration are still on the passenger seat of your car. This will become relevant later. Finally, you're half an hour outside of Oxford. It's about 2:30 in the morning at this point. You say, thank fucking God, you are almost home. You think, you know what, last half hour, back roads, it'll be a breeze, we got this. You're trying to turn left onto a divided highway. And this highway, there is a weirdly wide gap between the lanes. The median is very, very wide. Very wide, like a whole lane in and of itself. And for anybody who's from, like, the Middletown, Oxford, Hamilton area, you know exactly what intersection I'm talking about. But you're trying to turn left, and, you know, you're not very familiar with the area. at least that part of it. And so naturally you turn into the wrong lane. You see a car coming at you, you're like, oh shit. Swing an illegal U-turn, run the light, do an illegal turn, all of that. You think, thank God, I made it. You pass the car is a cop. The cop pulls you over. License and registration still on the passenger seat of your car, mind you. Mind you. I actually can't believe I survived this day. Thankfully, the cop was kind, and he says, you know what? It's okay. He sees the state you're in, you know, the whole killed deer and already got pulled over thing. And he's like, you know what? Where are you coming from? And I said, Montreal, Canada. And he said, you all the way there today? And I said, yes, sir. And he looks at you, and you can see he kind of takes pity on you, and he's like, all right, just don't do that shit again, basically, is what he said. So, you start driving again. Finally, you pull into the parking lot of your dorm. Yes, God. At this point, you have had 2 iced coffees and 5 energy drinks throughout the day. The reason why this is relevant is because you wake up at 7 in the morning for your 8 a.m. 4-hour-long Monday morning chemistry lab, and you feel the sickest you have felt in a long, long time. So you look up on Google. You say, is caffeine poisoning a thing? Yes. You look at the symptoms. Check, 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 check. You've given yourself caffeine poisoning. So just to recap, you drove 8 hours through the snow and the rain, with the visibility being so bad that you shouldn't have been driving. You killed a deer. You got pulled over twice, and you gave yourself caffeine poisoning. And you did all of this while you were hungover. So that was my day. Thank you and goodbye.